Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. Cindy here from clbcraftcreations.blogspot.com with our last week of the holiday card series for 2014. And this week is going to be kind of a mix-up. I usually feature one stamp set for the whole week, and this week I'm just going to do some one-offs. So today's card is using the Nature's Peace stamp set. It's a large stamp with some coordinating pieces as well. So this is the card we're going to make, and we're going to be doing some watercoloring. So I've got a piece of watercolor paper, and so to get started I've got a piece of watercolor paper which is cut at 3.5 by 4 3/4. This is actually cut down to size. If you want, you can actually go ahead and just cut a bigger piece and then cut it down to what you want. And so what we're going to do is I went ahead and already swiped my embossing buddy across it. We're going to bring in the stamp and our Versamark, and I'm going to just ink up my stamp really well. We're going to be using some white embossing powder. So go ahead and get that lined up and to give firm, even pressure. Now this is pretty much right on, so I probably should have left it a little bit bigger to make sure that I got a nice border around it, but it's okay. We'll go with it. You're not going to be able to see that. Bring in some scrap paper, my white embossing powder. This is all heat set. You can't see it, but it is white embossed, shiny, on my watercolor paper. And now we're going to start our watercolor effect. So I'm using Blackberry Bliss, and I'm just going to, on my craft mat here, I'm just going to lay down the ink. And I've got some Night of Navy and some Lost Lagoon. Actually, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see all this. Okay, and then I'm going to get my Lost Lagoon in there. And finally, I'm going to use some Pool Party. And I just wanted to, I don't want to get the Lost Lagoon in my Pool Party ink pad, so. Okay, so now that's done. You're just going to then spray down your colors. So you can see Blackberry Bliss, Night of Navy, Lost Lagoon, and Pool Party. So I'm just going to give it a good spray, and I'm just, because that's what I have, I'm using an old spray bottle that I filled with water. Okay, and then you want that pooled up look, so all those little bubbles in there. And then you're going to take your watercolor paper with your embossed image face down. And this is going to get inky, so if you do not like getting your fingers messy, this is probably not the best technique for you. So I want to make sure that I get some of this Blackberry Bliss at the top. So I'm going to make sure I get that. And actually, now looking at it, I'm not going to get any of the Pool Party in it. So you just lay it down into the paper, smudge it in there. That's a technical term. And you just want to make sure that you really push that watered down ink all the way to the edges. And so it's already a little warped because we heat embossed it, but there is no right or wrong way to do that. Now see, I've already gotten some ink on me, but it's okay. And then, voila. Ooh, that looks so pretty. Oh my gosh, this one's prettier than the last one. So I'm just going to kind of tap that off to the edges. So I want to make sure that all this stuff gets, so I'm just going to kind of tap that in there. And now what you really want to do is you want to set this aside to dry. But obviously we don't have the luxury of doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stop long enough. I'm going to clean up my work surface, and then I'm just going to hit my heat tool on it ever so lightly, just so that it helps speed up the drying process, and I will be right back. My work surface, I put everything away, and I've let this dry. It's still not completely dry, and it'll lighten up just a little bit, but I mean, I love, and this looks completely different than my sample. So here's my sample piece, which is much, much lighter. And that's, you know, if you put more water on, the lighter it'll be, because it waters it down a lot more. And then obviously the less water that you put in, the darker it'll be. So because it was so much darker, it did not look as nice on the Blackberry Bliss, which is what my original was on. So I decided I was going to use the Lost Lagoon because it really pulls out the Lost Lagoon in the watercoloring. So we're going to go ahead and get this assembled and we'll be done. So this piece again was cut at 3.5 by 4 3/4, and then my my Whisper White layering piece is 3 3/4 by 5, and we'll go ahead and get that adhered. I was going to pop it up, but I just decided for the sake of the video, I'm just going to just use my ATG. It is, I would recommend using either something very strong or a lot of adhesive, because the watercolor paper is thick and we've gotten it completely saturated. So you want to make sure that nothing pops up, and then make sure that all the edges are sealed down, because it will, it's warped, so it's definitely going to pull, you want to make sure that it stays nice and secured so that your recipient doesn't get a card that's falling apart. So I mean, it's so vibrant. I love these colors. And then again, same thing, you're going to want to make sure that you put enough adhesive on your layering piece. You could certainly pop it up. And then you just want to center that on your card front. And you are done. I went ahead and stamped the inside as well with the coordinating sentiment. But I think it's just such a wow factor. And I love that with this stamp set, all the little holes in the wording, so you can really pull that watercoloring colors in through there as well. So I think it turned out great. I mean, I loved it. It's one of those things I just love to do, is to watercolor. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Here, I'll bring in my original so you can see that's the Blackberry Bliss piece, and then here's my Lost Lagoon, and you are done. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thank you for all of you who joined in on the giveaways last week. The winners were announced, and for those of you who won, please make sure to get me your addresses, and I will get your prizes out to you this week. So again, thank you for joining me today. Head on over to my blog at clbcraftcreations.blogspot.com for all the links to order supplies used in today's card video. Please hit that like button if you liked today's card and are enjoying the series. Subscribe to my channel so you get updates on any new videos that I post. And I would love to hear your comments. So please leave something in the comment box. And I will be back on Wednesday with another card project. Talk to you soon. Bye.